Our next guest helped to shape campaigns for governments, foundations, candidates, presidents. Matthew Dowd, chief political strategist for President George W. Bush. That was back in 2004. That campaign, he has also consulted for President Obama in the past. He is also a Bloomberg political analyst. He is with us this morning from Washington. Matt, we want to pick up on something that Juliana just said, which is this poll makes it all the more challenging for President Obama in his reelection efforts with independent voters. What is that going to mean as far as his strategy?
Well, this is good morning, and this is a really precarious position that I think the president is in right now. He is, his numbers, as Juliana said, he's at an all-time low now in his overall approval and his approval on the economy. But what I think this poll tells us is that the American public is no longer going to judge the president on his words. It's going to judge it on the actions. And they're basically saying, yeah, we like what you say sometimes, and some of your plans are okay, but basically from now on, we're going to judge whether your performance as president, whether actually jobs are getting created, not that you're having a conversation on it. And that's a difficult position. He cannot market his way or speech his way out of this situation. He actually has to now actually improve the economy and create jobs. And much of that, as we all know, is out of his hands. And that's the difficult spot he's in.
Juliana, I was waiting for you to jump in, but I might ask, Matt, has any president recovered from ratings this low?
Well, that's interesting. When you talk to some of the president's political folks, what they used to say a few months ago was, well, President Reagan, when he was went into his midterm early on, after the midterm was low, and then he rose and he ended up winning in a landslide. And President Clinton was low and he ended up winning in a landslide. Well, the truth is today is both of those now no longer are operative, because at this point in time, both those presidents and the economy was already recovering, and the American public was already seeing good signs. We don't see that today. So now what the president's folks are saying is this is going to be like Harry Truman in 1948. And anytime I hear somebody mention Harry Truman from 1948, it's always a signal that things aren't good if you have to go back and pick a president from 75 years ago. If the president wins re-election at this point where the economy is today, it will be an historic thing that will happen, because no president at the point he is at today in the economy has recovered enough in time in order to win re-election.
We're talking about CEOs, but it makes me wonder whether the president ought to change his strategy and, instead of beseeching Congress to pass his jobs bill, complain more bitterly to CEOs about the fact that they're not hiring. Tell them that perhaps it's a little un-American to complain about uncertainty and regulation. Start hiring people and get the economy on its feet again.
Well, as I said before, I think at this point now, the political equation he has with Congress is, first, it's going to be very difficult getting anything passed in this environment, as Juliana made reference to. But secondly, he's going to be judged no longer by his words and his speeches. He's going to be judged by action. So the best thing he could do, actually, as you say, would be to sit down with a bunch of CEOs and say, listen, I'm going to try to give you some confidence here. We need to start hiring, because if folks don't see actual hiring changed and the economy change, the president, no matter how great his oratory is not going to be able to fix a political problem he has today.
Matt, quick question. What's the only reason he's not doing that? Perception?
Well, I think that one of the things that the Obama administration has done, and their communications folks have done, is that the president has been such a great orator that every time they think there's a problem, they're going to sprinkle pixie dust on it, which is Obama. We'll put some more Obama magic dust on it. And at this point, they've run out of steam on that. And right now, as I say, the best thing they could do is actually show Americans that jobs have been created. And thus far, the only solution they've had is speeches and not action.
Matt, it's Michael McKee. I'm curious what the calculation for Republicans is here with confidence so low. Do they try to block Obama, or, as Samuel Johnson once said, nothing concentrates the mind like a hanging? They go into an election year with confidence numbers really low for them, too.
That's a great question. The poll simultaneously, which is unusual. Normally, when one party is doing badly, a president's doing badly, the other party rises and does better. In this poll, actually, the best thing Obama has going for him is the Republicans. The Republicans are at an all-time low among their ratings, so it's not as if they've improved. What I think the Republicans will probably do is just keep saying no. It was a successful strategy in 2010. They actually won 2 races last night through this same strategy. They won a race in New York and a race in Nevada that the Democrats both had hoped to win. They lost both, which is a sign that the administration is taking on water. But I think right now the Republicans think saying no is the best solution. But the Republicans have to be real careful in this environment, since voters don't really like them.
Juliana, are you hearing signs of any change in the president's political strategy along the lines that Matt was just mentioning?
Well, Eric, I just do want to add that the president has reached out to CEOs. He's gone to the Chamber of Commerce. He's held job summits here. He had Jeff Immelt. He had Ken Chenault sitting in the First Lady's box at the speech to the joint session of Congress last week. And we have repeatedly heard the president call on corporate America to take the $2 trillion that they have sitting on their balance sheets and put that to creating jobs. But that hasn't worked either. And so part of the strategy for the White House right now is not only to boost confidence among the American public, which we're seeing is at an all-time low from this poll, but also to boost confidence among the business community and corporate America. Now, one of the other problems that we're seeing out of this poll for the president when it comes to pushing this jobs bill, right, Americans are skeptical that the whole jobs plan is going to get through. But on the specific, on the tax cuts, which has the most likely chance of getting through, the payroll tax cut for employers and on the employee side, actually Americans, according to this poll, overwhelmingly prefer to see the spending, the $35 billion in direct aid to states to avoid layoffs of teachers and first responders. So there's in some ways some contradictory signals that the White House is getting from the American public that this poll shows in terms of what they see as some of the best remedies to help this economy.
One quick point on the tax cuts. We've done this before, and experience shows generally companies that were going to hire anyway do the hiring. In 1977, 1978, only 6% of companies who were eligible for a payroll tax cut added workers, according to recent studies. And so it may not work, and both parties may get nothing out of this.
Which I guess why people say there is no silver bullet. So Michael McKee, Matt Dowd joining us there from D.C., and of course our own Juliana Goldman as well.